few weeks ago on our social media, if you follow us, you saw it, and if you didn't, you should follow us. We posted this picture, and basically it's about people dropping their pride to get help from other people. Today I'm going to kind of use that same type of thing and apply it to people communicating with different people in the organization at different levels and in different generations. So here's the scenario. There is a supervisor in a production company, and he's been there for over 20 years. He started on the front line and he worked his way up. He's super successful. He's kind of like people's go-to person. He knows what he's doing. And if he doesn't, then people trust him so much that whatever he says kind of goes. And I'm sure, as most of you know, as stuff evolves over 20 years, there's probably new technology, different machines. So there is another guy in this scenario, and when he is starting off, it's his first job, he's on the front line, he's from a younger generation, and he understands how this new technology and these new machines works. He kind of grew up a little bit more with technology, so he kind of understands what's going on. So he has been answering some of the questions that people have when they come to him, and the supervisor is kind of frustrated. Like, that's his role, that's what he's supposed to do, but he's not knowing the correct answers. So now we have kind of a tense situation where these guys are both trying to be helpful, but a supervisor doesn't know when he's needed to kind of step back and say, hey, I would love to learn how to do that. I didn't know this machine was capable of doing that. Could we set up a meeting and walk through that? But he's not dropping his pride, so he's answering these questions or trying to answer them and answering them incorrectly. So he's losing a little bit of credibility, and this new employee is learning that, I probably shouldn't go to him for anything, or he doesn't want me to answer these questions. So there's kind of a little friction, and all it would take is a little bit of communication. And I mean, it could be either person, but the supervisor should drop his pride and be like, hey, I don't know stuff about this. Do you have any questions for me? Maybe the younger employee doesn't know about different processes in the warehouse, and instead of them butting heads and not communicating, they both could drop their pride and make it work, communicate, make a stronger, better team together. Now think of someone in your office that you guys do different things, or you work in different departments. You could be in billing in there, and customer service, or whatever. Is there anything that you would want to learn from them, or that they would learn from you? And are your doors open? Are you willing to communicate freely, where you're letting each other be vulnerable and be like, I honestly don't know what it is? And it's probably a really simple process, but maybe they don't know. Maybe their mind doesn't think like that. Do you have someone in your office, or is that you, where you're thinking, wow, maybe I should open that line of communication and start a conversation? Many years ago, I had someone in this office come to me and ask if I could sit down with them and kind of walk through how Twitter works, what it's used for, what hashtags to use, how do we tag Revela, who should they follow. And she is probably one of the smartest people that I know. I go to her for a lot of questions, a lot of advice, and I'm sure it took a little bit for her to drop her pride and be like, I honestly don't know what this is. And Courtney does. That's kind of what I do here. I work with the social media side of stuff. So she just set up a simple meeting, and it took a little bit of that clarification, and she got it. And it was as simple as that. It wasn't a huge thing, and we just sat down one-on-one and had a great conversation. There is no secret formula to communicating with people. I know there's a bunch of articles out there on how to communicate with the younger generation, or how to talk to baby boomers, and there's not a secret. You have to be open to communication and willing to learn from one another. In our office, we have 3 different generations, and we call, text, IM, email, sit in each other's offices, and when we need to have conversations, there are different forms of communication, but they have to happen. And that's what you need to do with your team. If you need a little more structure and you're like, hey, we can't just sit down in each other's office whenever, set up a one-on-one. We do that quite frequently here too, if we need some clarification on things. set up a one-on-one or set up a meeting and have people walk through different things that they're good at and open that line of communication. As I was finishing up this video script and trying to find something to post on social, I ran across this tip from Matthew Torin on Entrepreneur's website, and I thought it was so fitting for this video. It's kind of funny how things work out like that. But it said, embrace your expertise. Don't try to be all the things for all the aspects of your business. Hire out or sign contracts with agencies for things that you can't do. Or you could ask someone on your team if you have a team large enough to do that stuff. And focus on your strengths as quickly and as often as possible. Don't be a jack of all trades and a master at none. So if you think about that, it's a pretty good tip. You don't have to know everything, and it's honestly okay that if you don't. I don't know anyone that knows everything about everything. It's not possible. So be open to learning from someone new and dropping your pride and just saying, even if you are the owner or the president of the company and you have been around forever, there's still opportunities for you to learn things, and make it okay on your team to be vulnerable with one another. And even if it's the president or even if it's the new employee, that everyone can go to one another and be like, I don't know how to do this. Can you teach me what you know? And I'll stay here, and listen and want to learn. That's how people grow. So the next time you have a question on something in billing or production or social media, drop your pride, reach out to someone and ask if they'd be willing to help. I think you'll be pretty amazed on how much your team knows, different people, different things, and how much you guys can put together to be a stronger, better unit.